Here's a quote from Mark Twain. If you find yourself on the side of the majority, pause and reflect. If there's one thing I know for a fact, humans will always evolve. I'm talking about quantum leaps. I'm saying not just regular evolving, but complete and total change. 0 to 1 inventions. Simply put, there's marginal growth that happens in day-to-day innovations, but there's like one in a lifetime opportunities that happen every so often that change the face of the whole entire planet Earth. Here's a good visualization from the book 0 to 1. As you can see from the picture, some of these inventions or innovations have vertical growth and some of them have horizontal growth. Some innovations will actually change the world, but some innovations will just, kind of make it accessible to the world. And as you can imagine, and it's probably why you're here in this video, Bitcoin is both. It's making it accessible to everybody and changing the planet as we speak. But if you're new to this channel or new to cryptocurrency in general, let me explain to you the characteristics of why Bitcoin is a superior form of currency. Okay, just like anything else, there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers, right? And what categorizes winners is the characteristics of what they do. For example, if you're watching a soccer player, if he's faster, stronger, and more skilled, he's probably going to beat somebody that has less strength, less skill, and is slower, right? These are properties of an actual soccer player. Bitcoin has properties, and there's actual properties of money that you can look at for every single form of currency on planet Earth. The first one is durability. Can the currency be easily destroyed? Can you break it? Can you rip the dollar, for example? Bitcoin technically cannot be destroyed ever. It's on the blockchain, publicly available to anybody. Anyone can see where it is. It cannot be destroyed. There's no possible way, because then you would have to destroy the whole entire blockchain. Bitcoin, not one Bitcoin can be destroyed. Its durability is high on the spectrum when it comes to characteristics. Number two, portability. How easy is it to transfer, right? Back in the day, they used to use gold as money, but it's hard to move $1 million worth of gold. So they made digital notes, which makes it easily transferable from point A to B or other sides of the world. It happens to be that digital currencies are even more transferable. You could put $20 million on a little piece of hardware. Again, like I said, it's even more transferable than cash. Well, people are gonna say, oh, well, you can have $20 million in your bank account. If you're in the United States and you want to move that $20 million to another country, it's way harder than you think. So Bitcoin's portability is definitely higher on the characteristic spectrum. Three, divisibility. How easy is it to divide it? Bitcoin has Satoshis. You can divide it, I believe, don't quote me on this, into 100 million different Satoshis. All I know is it's far more divisible than a penny. So if you look at, for example, the dollar, the lowest form of divisibility in US dollar or any fiat currency is usually a coin. In the case of United States dollar, it's a penny. So Bitcoin is 100,000 times more divisible than a penny, right? And the reason why we have this is because back in the day, you couldn't really buy a cup of coffee with gold. So the divisibility factor is a lot better when purchasing really small items that don't cost as much. And number four, fungibility. It must be interchangeable. Now, Bitcoin, in this case, is supposed to be, right? Vast majority of all BTC is going to be the same as some other BTC, but there's obviously problems when selling it, right? So for example, if the Bitcoin came from the Silk Road or some type of scamming service, people are going to consider that Bitcoin less valuable and they might not accept it. Now, in the future, this might change because United States dollar has the same issue, except for the fact that there's no public ledger. So drug money, drug dollars, drug $100 bills, you can't really see the fact that this is, drug money, right? It's just a dollar in your hand. But when it comes to the case of Bitcoin, being that it's publicly available to anybody, it's not as fungible. Now, in the future, there could be a situation where Bitcoin will maybe hide the history of transactions, whatever the case. Litecoin is currently working on this. They might integrate that technology to make the fungibility a lot better. Just look at, there's other properties of money, right? There's a lot of properties of money. Look at it. Bitcoin will statistically win every single time. And this is why it's appreciating in value so much faster than any other currency on planet Earth. Long story short, Bitcoin crushes every single property by very far. Not even Satoshi Nakamoto himself, the one that made Bitcoin, can change the properties of Bitcoin. It's stand in stone. It's programmable truth, artificial truth, whatever you want to call it. Bitcoin is here to stay, and the properties of it are set in stone. So moving forward to the price prediction, I wanted to create the greatest price prediction ever made. Now, I've done this on my channel before. We've made price predictions on Bitcoin. There's a lot of smart people that have done it before. There's data science experts that's smarter than me. There's people that just have more credibility than me that have making price predictions. but I wanted, again, to create the greatest price prediction on planet Earth. So I dove very deep. I used the company's resources. I took this extremely serious. And the reason why is because think about it. Like Bitcoin is our ticket to success. It's the ticket for altcoin season. It's the ticket for cryptocurrency as an advocation in general. Like Bitcoin advocates for, cryptocurrency in general. The success of Bitcoin is a success for all of us, no matter what you hold. Obviously, I want Bitcoin's price to go to 200K, but that would just be like a 4X. Some of our altcoins are going to 100X when Bitcoin's price goes that high. So again, like I said, not only, is this a life-changing event for pretty much everybody on planet Earth, but I have a lot of money in cryptocurrency. So I just want to make sure we're going to do very well here. So I dedicated a lot of time, a lot of resources. I got people in my company. I dedicated more handsomeness and mustache than I ever have in any video to make this price prediction. So when making this price prediction, I wanted to attack it from an angle nobody else has done before. So there's going to be smarter people that are going to make these predictions. So I wanted to take them in consideration. I looked at something called social currency. Nobody else has ever done this before. And this is the type of value you get from my channel. I promise you nobody else has done this. I looked at the social awareness around Bitcoin price prediction, the search term on the internet, which, by the way, if we look at where cryptocurrency was birthed, it's on the internet. So the internet psychology is definitely something we need to measure. We need to measure what people are saying and thinking about Bitcoin's price to accurately look and see if there's any correlation from the actual price to the predictions that are people making on the internet. So instead of having ego and thinking I can come up with something new, I actually collaborated with every single person that's ever wrote anything about Bitcoin on the internet or in these three platforms: Google search, YouTube, or Twitter. If you have said anything about Bitcoin's price, you are included in this price prediction, which will give us the most accurate in my personal opinion. What is the general public thinking about Bitcoin's price? What are they saying? How accurate and correlated is it to the actual price of Bitcoin? Are people overly optimistic? Are they under optimistic? Is some of the $400,000 Bitcoin price predictions going to come true? Are we going to see Bitcoin jump to $1 million? These are the questions I set out to answer with internet psychology. So this was the plan. I actually gathered a whole bunch of data through data scraping softwares, not me, but one of my data science experts. We got some of our coaches to gather some as well. And we basically consolidated this into a machine learning program that I'll show with you guys for the first time ever on this channel. Again, like I said, nobody else is doing this. Remember, we wanted to get data from thousands of points because the more data we consume, the more accurate this correlation is. And we found that it's actually pretty correlated. It's ridiculous. So we did as much as we possibly can on the biggest platforms. Now, I'll probably do this again when we have more time. We'll probably do another price prediction, a massive one. So make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. Again, I talk about cryptocurrency and entrepreneurship. My name is Alexander Lorenzo. We do not accept sponsorships. All the ideas I put on my channel are mine and mine only. And I say this every time because in a world of lies, I try to keep it as honest and transparent as I possibly can. And this is the type of quality you get with the channel. Hence this price prediction here. This is an in-house price prediction that I got from my team and nobody else. Meaning unbiased, I can tell you the truth, and Bitcoin sponsors can't pay me. So let's jump into the video. Now, before you take this price prediction extremely serious, understand there's going to be certain variables that are not as accurate. Nothing's going to be perfect. We essentially try to weed out the false information at the best of our ability. And more we do this, the more accurate it will become. But the actual prediction is crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? Let's look at the data here. So we pulled it from Google News API and Google price predictions. As you can see here, Google Trends and searches. The biggest search engine on planet Earth is Google, right? Biggest by far. And the second biggest search engine on planet Earth is YouTube. So these were the two biggest ones I pulled my information from. Also understand, a lot of people in cryptocurrency, this is where they get their info from. This is where the mass psychology is happening. They're looking up Bitcoin's price and they're seeing these articles that are saying this, right? And that's exactly what we did. We data scraped every single one of those articles and we got 1,671 articles weighted by Alexa rank. Okay, we use Python and we use Alexa by Amazon because it's the biggest website analytics tool on planet Earth. Then we went to YouTube and we got 5,171 titles, which, by the way, my predictions are probably in there as well. And it's weighted by views. And then we went to the Twitter's API and we got 2,025 tweets. I want to get more. Again, like I said, in the future, we're going to have a lot more. Okay, but for the purposes of this video, I want to show you guys what it came up with. It's kind of like the first draft. Filtering relevant data by Bitcoin. So we use Bitcoin as a search title. Long story short, we took out a lot of like the over exuberant price predictions or what we're saying here, or as you can see here, the noise from the data due to dumb, which is doesn't understand semantic meetings. We took out as much crazy price predictions, basically cleaned up the data to make it as accurate as possible. So let's look at what's going on here. Here's the actual prediction. As you can see here, the blue is the expected Bitcoin's price and the red is the actual Bitcoin's price. You could see that it's semi-correlated, just briefly, but the actual percentages are absolutely ridiculous. This is the Google price prediction. This is the YouTube price prediction in accordance to the actual price of Bitcoin, right? You can see people are a little bit over optimistic. I could say that for myself. And I think it's primarily because they're trying to hype people up. They're trying to get views. They're trying to get clicks. Their motive is not to try to accurately predict Bitcoin's price. Their motive is just to get as many views and attention as possible. So sometimes they'll say things like, Bitcoin to $1 million or Bitcoin is going to quadruple or whatever the case is. They're in general more optimistic. So just understand that even though the news outlets are optimistic and we know, or most of you know, that the actual price is probably not going to do that, there's people that will get, finessed, or, the general psychology are seeing the general people are seeing these numbers, right? They're seeing these numbers over and over again. Even if they're over optimistic, it's in their brain. And this is important to understand, because if you think Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million, you're never going to cash out. You're never going to sell your Bitcoin at the right time. So if your general psychology is overly optimistic, you're going to be caught holding the bag. And if we look back to 2017, 99% of people lost a ridiculous amount of money and held on to the bag. My goal here on this channel is to call the top. I promise you, if I see a top in Bitcoin or any altcoin season, I'm going to publicly tell every single person on my YouTube channel, that I'm selling, right? It's obviously not financial advice, but I'm going to tell you why and give you the best reasonings. Now, this is not a time for that, right? It's not selling moment. Now it's time to buy, in my personal opinion. But let's look at the correlation between all social media predictions, right? There's a direct correlation between the past and current performance of Bitcoin and the predictions being made in that same period. This is observational data only, so the correlations can be made. Causation is found through experimental studies with control variables. So again, we can make conclusions, we can draw correlations, but this is not the actual way you have to predict it. It will require a lot more resources to look into this in a deeper perspective. In all likelihood, the price and the predictions operate in a feedback loop where they simultaneously affect each other. Like we all said, they affect each other. The Bitcoin's price will increase with this news, and the news will get more exaggerated, and then it's a feedback loop, right? Data reliability is solid as all three graphs show similar trends in the short term. So in short term, they are similar. They are pretty much all similar. Everyone's kind of copying each other. If you understand how the internet works and how media works on the internet, they're just regurgitating each other's information. So I could see how this feedback loop plays. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, let me just give you a quick draw. I can't draw, but I'll give you a little representation of what I'm talking about. So let's just say this is the news outlet. They say 100K Bitcoin, right? Which causes people to actually buy the Bitcoin. Let's just say that's Bitcoin. They actually buy it, which brings the price up. And then the price coming up, gets people to make more news. And it's a feedback loop, and it just keeps going. And we all know that Bitcoin's price, and as well as a lot of altcoins, are heavily weighted on speculation and overvalued. Hence why a lot of the times the bubbles pop, right? The Bitcoin's price would drop exponentially. People will call it a scam. It would drop like 70, 80%, just like it did last altcoin cycle. And then it comes back because it's just overvalued. And this happens in every single bubble on planet Earth. There's like the bubble and speculation of what people think. The same thing with, the housing bubble, or, the stock. And the same thing with like the tech bubble. They're bubbles, they pop, true innovation stays, the true projects stay, and then eventually it comes back. So interpretation, 100% change in the last month will result in 101.3% change in price prediction. So as you can see, they're highly correlated. Bitcoin's predictions and the price are very correlated. The price prediction on average is 225% of last month's price. You can see that people are a little bit optimistic about the price, and it goes through that feedback loop. Last month's price accounts for 75% of the variant in the current monthly price prediction, which we'll talk about. The standard error is high. So this is the exact number that you need to understand. If people, and you see people on YouTube or on news outlets predicting price of Bitcoin to be like 500K, they're 75.87% wrong. So typically people will predict the price of Bitcoin higher about 75% of the time, 76% of the time, they'll predict that the price is going to be higher from what the actual price ends up being. Considering the default standard error, in other words, the model could be off about 75% from the given price prediction. This is probably because most predictions are wild guess, and this is all true. So if we look at the actual price prediction, like I told you, the greatest price prediction ever made, we're going to be branching this out to years, not just the end of April. They are basically saying, okay, and we're going to come back to this, and this is also going to change a lot with the cycles of the market. So don't take this too seriously. I'm not even taking it too seriously. The prediction for April 21st, 2021, 30 days after the data collection, which it was recent, but you know, it took a little bit of time for me to make this video. They're saying that Bitcoin's price will be 100, or this actual data science model, according to their predictions, they're saying Bitcoin's going to be 131,000 by April 21st, which is in 2 weeks. Now, I don't think this is necessarily accurate, but it's interesting to see that people are optimistic, and the numbers that we looked at, like just look at your favorite YouTuber, see the average of what they're talking about. It's probably gonna be 75% off. I could accurately say and honestly say that it's the same thing for my channel. I will obviously over exaggerate because of clickbait or the video. I want people to view the video. That's just the truth. I think we can learn from this experience. I'm gonna get more and more accurate. I'm gonna spend more and more time on this prediction model. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this. So if you appreciate that, like this video, share it with somebody. Hopefully you learned something. And if you didn't, well, leave some constructive criticism below. But that's it for this video. If you like the quality of content, hit like. If you don't, leave some constructive criticism. Subscribe for more video updates. And like I always say, if you don't get with it, you will get left behind. Thanks for watching this, guys. Catch you in the next one. Alex here. Quick update, quick announcement. Guys, I have a new community number. So I got a second phone. You could directly text me. I'm answering all questions. My new phone number is 954-758-5473. Again, that's 954-758-5473. I'm answering all comments. Go ahead and text me now. Let's have a conversation.